Congratulations on your by-election victory last night. Tell me a bit about what it was like to be on a ballot with more than 200 names and this continued sort of long ballot protest that has popped up in the past.
Well, it felt a little crowded. There's obviously some very well-organized and well-funded special interest groups that wanted to keep me out of Parliament so that I couldn't question authority or ask the difficult questions that Canadians want asked. But in the end, the people spoke and gave me a strong mandate to fight for, an affordable life, safe streets, a more self-reliant Canadian economy. They voted for all those things despite the distractions of this long ballot scam.
You've, I think, mentioned before, or your party's mentioned before, you'd like Ottawa, the federal government, to change rules so
Yes.
that can't happen. What would you like to see there?
Well, very simple. If every candidate had to have their own signatures sponsoring them, 100 signatures sponsoring them, and that if only each signatory could only sign once, then that would do away with it, because this group, despite its financing and its central control out of Ottawa, would not be able to get the signatures to have 200 people.
You think it confuses people to have 200 people on the ballot?
That's the idea. These groups want to confuse people and frustrate democracy, to shut down voices that are speaking common sense. But you know what? At the end, it didn't work, and we're going to change the law to end the long ballot scam and give people back their secret ballot democracy.
You're in British Columbia. BC Ferries is a big topic. Their contract with the Chinese government. In the light of tariffs from China on canola, what are you hoping to see the BC government, the federal government, and BC Ferries do on that contract?
Well, it seems incredible to me that the Liberals and NDP want to give $1 billion contract backed by a taxpayer-funded federal loan to a country that has slammed our farmers and fish harvesters with unfair tariffs. I want to retaliate against Beijing by cancelling this loan and this contract. In addition to that, we should have an economy that's competitive enough to make our own ships, especially in this time where, after COVID and the latest trade disputes, we've proven we know that we need to be more self-reliant than ever before. So Conservatives want to cancel this and source the construction here at home with our workers, our people, our steel, our country.
What would you say to BC's Premier and the CEO of BC Ferries, who can actually make the decision to cancel it? That's not actually a federal decision. They do control the loan. But what would you say to our Premier and BC Ferries on that?
Well, you're right that the federal government, under the Liberals, has made the loan. They attacked the purchase of the Chinese ships, but then the feds were the ones that loaned the money to buy the ships. So it's more Liberal hypocrisy and dishonesty that's costing British Columbia and Canadian taxpayers, while making our economy more helpless and reliant on forces out of our control. So what I would say is we need an economy that is strong, self-reliant, and sovereign. And that's what our Conservative economic plan will do.
But just to be clear, you do think BC Ferries should cancel the China contract and go somewhere else?
I do. I do think we should either make the full ship here at home, or we should sign deals with countries that buy our goods and that will reciprocate and spend as much money buying from us as we do from them. That is not the case with Beijing. Beijing is attacking our economy. It's one of many countries that feel they can walk all over Canada because of weak Liberal leadership and bad NDP policies. So our approach as Conservatives is to bring home the production to our country and unleash the might of our worker and the genius of our businesses.
This time next month, the federal government has to decide if it'll continue to grant an exemption on overdose prevention sites in BC. What do you think they should do, and what have you seen in BC on overdose prevention sites?
On drug dens. They're not overdose prevention sites, they're drug dens. And I noticed that they come up with a new name. Remember, it was safe consumption site. They change the name all the time. And that whenever they change the words to manipulate the meaning, you always have to suspect the real agenda. The liberalization of drugs in this country has been a disaster. Over the last 10 years of Liberal government, we've lost 50,000 people to overdoses. Mark Carney continues with the same disastrous policies that the NDP and Liberals have pushed and that have caused so much death and destruction. We know the way forward. Shut the drug dens, ban the drugs, give life sentences to fentanyl dealers, and invest in treatment and recovery to bring our loved ones home drug-free.
And just finally, now that you have a seat in the House of Commons again, what does the fall look like for you, and how different will it be having you back in the House of Commons?
It'll mean fighting for a strong, self-reliant Canadian economy where hardworking people have more take-home pay with dollars that buy more affordable goods. People can't afford to live right now. You know, it doesn't matter if you're in rural Alberta or Vancouver Island. Grocery prices, housing costs are through the roof, and paychecks are falling as jobs are being lost. This is the Carney Liberal record, and we need a strong Conservative voice to strengthen take-home pay, make our streets safer, and make our borders more secure.
I guess just doubly finally, what are you doing in Victoria? Who are you seeing? What's the purpose of being here?
We're here at Gordon Construction talking about the need for to unlock affordable home building by removing government taxes and red tape that stand in the way of builders and buyers. And the goal is dual purpose. One, we want our young people to be able to afford homes, and two, we want our construction workers to have jobs with growing wages. That's my mission. But it's really about bringing home the promise that this country made all of us, which is if you work hard, you get a great paycheck and a nice home in a safe street, and that's what we want to bring back.
Okay. Thanks for taking the time.
Thank you, sir. Great to be back.